Have you heard of the phrase DARVO before? Some people have, some people haven't, and I wanted to bring this tool, this idea, this thought process into this whole aspect of narcissism and narcissistic abuse. I want to be able to touch on how narcissists actually use DARVO in gaslighting and manipulation, and we're going to go through a small process of just defining it, like understanding what DARVO is, like what some of those tactics, how it actually looks in the moment, and then what we need to do to be able to deal with it and how to be able to understand it. So, if you don't know what DARVO is, the definition of it is an acronym that is deny, attack, reverse, victim, offender. Okay? So, deny, attack, reverse, victim, offender. This idea is going on here of these are like tactics pretty much of gaslighting. These are things that make up that gaslighting very, very easily and very, very quickly. And we're going to dive in and we're going to look at that. So when we talk about gaslighting, a lot of times we talk about the crazy making, right? Like the crazy making that you feel in being with a narcissist, in being under narcissistic abuse. A lot of times that crazy making makes you doubt your reality. There's a lot of times the reason why you're in a trauma bond, why you're dealing with something almost like Stockholm Syndrome, why you feel addicted to this person because you've gone back and forth. The intermittent reinforcement, the highs and the lows, the ups and the downs, the cognitive dissonance, the hope, the potential, everything that's leading you to a place of knowledge of this is a toxic relationship, but you still want to keep going back. A lot of times that's because of gaslighting that a narcissist convinces you to stay with them and to be with them. When we talk about gaslighting, it's not just this aspect of lying, but then it's taking it a step further, of denying your reality, of making you doubt the things that you know to be true and confusing you. A lot of times a narcissist will use this concept of DARVO to be able to make that happen. So let's look at it real quick. One of the first words is deny. Refuse that anything actually happened at all. And you see narcissists that do this time and time again. You've probably seen it in your own relationship where you've been like, hey, did this happen? And they're like, no, what are you talking about? That never happened. And it's not just the aspect of deny, but they're going to keep putting out phrases and thoughts and ideas that this never even existed. I never did that. That's a lie. Like, that didn't even happen. Like, what are you talking about? And it starts to make you feel almost crazy. It's that first little step of like, wait a second, like, this just happened. No, it didn't. No, but I saw it. No, it didn't. And so the whole goal here is to deny that anything happened at all. A lot of times you'll see this in a narcissistic relationship as being really quick, really fast, really quick denial. This is the part where the lies are almost instinctual. This is where the narcissist will just lie at the drop of a hat and be like, nope, that didn't happen. And then they come back with a story or a reality that they're trying to produce or trying to make like fit on you so that you don't realize that they're hiding the truth. So they're running from it as quick as they can by just denying it. Like, I got to get away from it. Like, this didn't happen. Forget this. There's that refusal of telling the truth, of dealing with the facts. Oftentimes, this is trying to shift the story, to change it just a little bit. Like, to deny, that didn't happen. This happened. And it might be close to the truth, but it might not be the reality. It might be lies of omission that we talked about just the other day, of trying to hide from something. Well, they're going to deny it. They're going to refuse to acknowledge that anything actually happened, especially the things that happened that you're trying to hold them accountable for. And then they're going to switch it back on you. And that's to attack you. That's to turn it around on the other person. Now, when we're talking about attacking, like a lot of times they're going to use the same type of words, the same type of manipulation, the same type of pieces, okay? The same type of things that you have said before, and they're going to use it in a manipulative way back on you. This is where the narcissist will turn it around on you and make it seem like the same things that you've been saying come back at you. Maybe they're just going to attack your validity, your credibility. A lot of times I would attack specific pieces of an argument. So your narcissist is like you're saying a story or you're saying something to hold them accountable. Like, why did you come home at 11 o'clock last night? And they're like, I didn't come home at 11 o'clock last night. I came home at 10:55. So you obviously don't know what you're talking about. Like, we'll find that they'll use even the smallest little minute details to try to devalue your argument. That's what I would do. I would take small things. I would be like a very logical, analytical thinker. So I'd take the smallest thing and be like, you don't even know what you're talking about because that didn't happen because of X, Y, and Z. And I would start to attack the other person of like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, there would be pieces of attacking the other person so that I could make them start to doubt. And in this aspect, the narcissist starts to plant doubt in you. Starts to make you question your motives. Sometimes makes you question your mental health. Sometimes makes you question the things that you have seen because they're planting this doubt. And it makes you feel crazy. Makes you feel like you're psycho, like you're an addict. Makes you wonder, like, am I actually seeing this correctly? Like, what's going on? You walk away from the conversation with a splitting headache and you're unsure what's actually happening. Maybe you just got word salad. Maybe you just got all walked around, whatever might have happened. And you realize that the attack came back on you. They reversed it. And that's what we go into next, is talking about the reversal. But sometimes you'll see with the attack piece, the narcissist will also put the blame on you at the same time. Going as far as, you asked for this. You made me do this. You never said no. And a lot of times you'll see narcissists that will use phrases like that will put anything back on the other person to blame them for the narcissist's actions. To blame them for what the narcissist should be responsible for, but they're unwilling to accept that responsibility. And as a result, we continue going into the next section, which is reverse victim offender. This is the idea of where it's not just attack, but then it's the reversal of everything. This is where you've got to the place where you've been denied the truth. They've held it from you. Then they started to attack you, and then they started to switch it around to make themselves be the victim. Maybe you walked into the conversation being hurt because of something you heard or you found or you experienced or felt or whatever it might be, and you walked away thinking, like, wait a second, how could I have done that to that person? When you walked in based on an action that they'd already done. This is where the narcissist will switch it. Well, they'll turn it back to a victim status, that they are the victim. Narcissists love to play the victim. It's so easy for a lot of narcissists to do. They just hide and sedate what's actually going on, and they play the victim to make you feel bad for things that they've done. Sometimes they start to do this when they believe that you're an inconvenience because you're still crying and you haven't got that fixed in 5 minutes. Because you're trying to hold them accountable and they're like, you're attacking me, and so they want to bring it back to you, and they're the victim because you're attacking them. They want to seem like they want to seem like they're being attacked, like you're the offender, like you're the one attacking them, and they're just like, I'm the victim here. And this is where it gets really crazy because they'll use the same exact words. You know what, I just don't feel emotionally safe around you anymore. I feel like you're being a little bit abusive. Like you're telling me that, but I feel like you're gaslighting me right now. Like you'll start to see the same phrases. And this is why it's really essential not to tell a narcissist that they're a narcissist. Not to actually say, hey, I think you're a narcissist, because a lot of times they will research it, they will start to learn about it, and they will flip it back around on you. Don't be surprised if you call a narcissist that within 2 weeks, they're calling you a narcissist. Because that happens time and time again, and it makes it so confusing for people, because then they're like, wait a second, like, what am I? Am I a narcissist? Am I abusive? Some of those things we dive into really deep to be able to help you understand that in the Escape Toxicity Challenge. 7-day challenge of healing, escapetoxicity.com. Because so many people struggle with that thought process and the idea of like, maybe I am the toxic one. Maybe it was me. Maybe it takes two and I was part of that. And they're going to use some of the same things that you've said to them to be able to put it back on you, to be able to confuse you. And it gets to a place where it's hard to sense and see it because it makes you feel crazy. So what do we do? How do we actually move forward? How do we deal with some of this? One, you have to be able to continue to consume like the knowledge and understanding of like, wait, I understand what it is to actually be free from it. If you don't understand it, you get stuck every single time. So understanding the narcissist is going to go through this system of denying, of attacking, and then reverse victim back to being you as being the offender and them being the victim. And when they do this, you're going to start to doubt the truth. This is the important piece because they're going to try to convince you that you're crazy. They're going to try to convince you that your reality does not exist. And this is the piece that you can actually have advantage if you concentrate and work on making sure that you're journaling, that you're focusing on the truth. Because that's the only thing that's going to set you free. That's the only thing that you're going to be able to rely on in those moments of feeling insane, of like, wait a second, what actually happened? And you go back and review your journal, you review what just happened, you're like, wait a second, I'm not crazy. This person did this and that made me feel this way. I'm not crazy. This is the story that I believe. I'm not crazy. This is what I'm going through. And we work on changing that story. Work on changing that narrative, that false reality that you have on your mind from that other person back to truth, back to reality. And when people do this, it maximizes and it helps them in their growth so much that they move through a period of time where weeks or months later, they're not thinking about this person. They're not crying about this person. This person no longer has a hold. But they've started to break free. Narcissists want to convince you that they're crazy. Pick up a journal and start journaling. That way you can see the truth to what's actually happening. It's amazing when people write stuff down, all of a sudden they realize that happened that way. Like, I don't remember it that way, but it comes out when they write it out. Get connected with friends, get connected with family, get connected with people in your life that are going to help you grow, heal, change, and develop. Last but not least, reach out for help. If you want to interact, if you want me to walk you through some of this process of understanding, of getting clarity, then you can go to rawmotivations.com. Click on the one-on-ones. Would love to talk to you one-on-one. If you're struggling with the journaling, we've got the journals that are out. You got From Fantasy to Reality. And the second one that's coming out as well, From Regret to Gratitude. So be able to check those out. You can get those at rawmotivations.com/books. And if you want to get more in-depth knowledge about narcissism, if you're the narcissist, reactive abuse, how to set up boundaries, go to escapetoxicity.com and be able to check out. It's a small challenge. It's 7 days to be able to help you move forward and expand your thought process, expand what you're going through right now, to heal, to grow, and to change.